So some SEOs, myself included, have been saying to, quote, just build a brand for years. But what exactly does that mean? And how do we build a brand that AI, Google, and the LLMs love to recommend? In this video, I'm going to be talking about brand authority, what it is, how to measure it, and most importantly, how to actually influence it so that AI like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI mode actually love to recommend your brand over your competitors' brands. All right, let's get into it. So I'm Chris Gegis, and I help brands get found online with SEO, AI, and comprehensive digital marketing solutions, but you can click the link in the description for more information about me or if you'd like to work together. Also, be sure to sign up for my mailing list to get my weekly insights delivered to your inbox, as well as instant access to my shared documents folder, which includes a lot of stuff, including a big checklist of all the things we're going to go over today, and there is a lot of stuff. So this video is inspired by an email I got from Kevin Indig. You can go ahead and subscribe to his mailing list if you want. And he gives a bunch of useful information on brand authority, but it's more about measuring things. And he doesn't really go into any practical information about how you can actually influence these things. So I feel like I have a lot of value I can add here. Very quickly, what is brand authority? In very simple terms, brand authority is really just another name for reputation measured across, and then he gives some different areas, which are branded search demand, high quality citations, authoritative backlinks, expert and press mentions, and positive user engagement. And there's quite a lot to unpack here. So we're going to go into a lot of detail on all of these things and how exactly you can influence each one of these things so that AI likes to recommend you. Before we dive in how to influence, first we need to know how to measure, and we'll go over this stuff pretty quickly. The first way is you can use good old-fashioned search operators. So let's just say that my brand for this example is Ahrefs. I could do Ahrefs minus site:/Ahrefs.com. And what this operator does is it will find all of the mentions of Ahrefs on the internet that are not coming from Ahrefs' own website. Scrolling down the page here, number 5 is for links a lot. It's my previous link building agency on page 1 for Ahrefs. So this isn't really the best way to measure your brand reputation online, but it can give you a quick overview of what other people are saying, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on social media, whether it's on blogs like our blog. And you can just go through these things and try to assess if your reputation is good or bad, if people are talking about you a lot or a little. Next up, you can go over to ChatGPT and you can just ask it what it knows about you or your brand. So here I just asked ChatGPT what it knows about myself. I also asked what is the community sentiment about Chris, and it gives me some very cool stuff, and it shows you exactly where it's finding all this stuff, right? And you could also ask another follow-up. For example, if we're talking about Ahrefs, you could say, how does my brand or my product compare to other competitors in the space, and see what the AI actually thinks about you. Just like with SEO, Google always shows us what it wants because you can very quickly see who's the #1 ranker for a keyword, and you can reverse engineer that. We can do the exact same thing with ChatGPT. See what it's saying about you, where it's getting that information from all across the internet, and then you can come up with a plan of how you can influence it. And lastly, you could check out Ahrefs Brand Radar. The first thing you can do is you can enter in your brand, and you can see how much branded search volume you get compared to your competitors. So you can see people are searching for Coke a lot more than they're searching for Pepsi. And then you can click this web visibility tab as well. And I've went ahead and I just entered my name here. And what will come up are all of the different places that your name or your brand has been mentioned online. And actually, while I was using this, I found out that I've been mentioned on the Backlinko blog, which is, of course, one of the most popular websites in the SEO space. So pretty cool. I am now officially an SEO celebrity. And I'll talk more about exactly how I got this mention without even trying later in the video. All right, so now let's get back to how we can influence these main things that affect our online reputation or how the LLMs perceive our brand. Number 1, we have expert or press mentions, and these do not have to be linked, meaning you do not need a backlink from them. So these would be from very high authority websites, something like Forbes or Yahoo Finance. Websites like this are highly trusted by the LLMs, so naturally being mentioned on them can be highly beneficial to you. So how do we influence it? How do we get more expert press mentions? So for number 1, we have press releases, and this is actually pretty interesting to me. On this page I showed you earlier where I was asking what ChatGPT knows about me and how trusted I am in the community. If you look at the page, one of the websites that it mentions the most is this one right here, Martech Edge, which is actually a press release I did recently, which just talks about me selling my link building agency and pivoting more towards AI and LLM stuff, even though I'm still doing SEO as well. So it's pretty cool to see that you can do that with a press release, which you can usually do for less than $100. You can see that this website has a DR of 55, which isn't the strongest in the world, and you can generally get some stronger ones when you do press releases. So I'm not really sure why it's choosing to cite specifically this one, but we'll go with it. But with this press release, I was really able to change the way that AI was saying who I was, whereas before it still really thought I was mostly involved with link building. Now what it knows about me is a lot more about AI visibility and my pivot away from link building, doing more comprehensive digital marketing stuff, SEO consulting, and it still thinks I'm the sexiest SEO in the universe. So if you just go to Google and type sexiest SEO, you'll see the #1 handsome fella right here. Next up, you can get these expert mentions with digital PR. Digital PR is when you create some kind of newsworthy data study or a press release, and then you shop it out to a bunch of journalists. And if you've done a good job, these journals will then write a story about you. This is one of the best ways to get mentioned on really high authority websites like Forbes, Yahoo Finance, etc. But it takes a good amount of skill and know how to do this stuff, and press release campaigns can be pretty expensive, but it can be worth it. Next up, you can use tools like Haro, Quoted, or Connectively. We've got Haro, which has made a return after shutting down for a while. And here's Quoted. There's a few different platforms that do the same thing. But essentially, journalists are just looking for answers to questions so they can put expert quotes in articles they're writing. You can go and answer these questions for them, and if you've done a good job, then they will use a quote from you in their article, and they will position you as an expert on whatever. Next up, we have Parasite SEO, which is a little bit different from doing digital PR and getting a link on Forbes. Parasite SEO would be more like, hey, Forbes editor, here's some money, and I want this exact article on your website. Forbes is not the only website you can do this on. There's a bunch of other websites you can get Parasite SEO posts on. The most famous one, which people don't use as much anymore, was Outlook India. But just depending on what your niche is, then different websites would make more sense to use than others. But they can be a great way to get these really high authority placements, and it's really just pay to play. Next up, networking on LinkedIn and social media using strong opinions, contrarian takes, etc. So before, how I was showing you, I got this link on Backlinko. What this actually comes from is me making a comment on LinkedIn. So yeah, just being active on LinkedIn, having strong opinions can definitely help get you cited on these higher authority sources. Not really easy stuff to do. It definitely takes some time though, and it's a lot less pay to play than something like doing Haro links or doing digital PR. And last up, we have content marketing, statistics pages, free tools, etc. So if we go to Ahrefs, we're going to pull up Backlinko, and we're going to go to their top pages. You can see that a lot of their top pages were actually them creating these free tools, right? A rank checker, free SEO tools, a keyword tool, some backlink checker. Clicking through, you can see it's completely for free. And they also like to create articles like this one where they talk about statistics, and people love to cite these when they are writing articles. So whether it's free tools or articles like this one, creating this really strong content with either free stuff or just lots of useful information can be really good for being mentioned by these super high authority sources. And of course, this stuff is not that easy to make, especially creating this really good content or these statistics pages. However, free tools has definitely got a lot easier. These days, people are just vibe coding tools very quickly with things like Cursor for a fraction of the cost of what they would cost before. And you can just stick them up on your website pretty quickly. Especially if it's a simple tool, you can get this stuff done in a matter of hours. And then it's just your job to market it essentially and get some eyeballs on it and get people talking about you and your brand. Next up, we have high quality citations. And no, this is not citations like Hot Frog or Yelp, also known as unlinked brand mentions. And they can be linked, but they don't have to, just like the one before. And what's different, this one is expert press mentions. We're really talking about these links on super high authority sites like Forbes and whatnot. For high quality citations, we're just talking about people talking about our brand all over the internet. Mentions of your brand on third-party sites, meaning not your own site. Just like we were talking about before, they love to see when you are being talked about all over the internet, and then they say, okay, well, since everyone is saying great things about them, everyone's talking about them, they must be the best, so now we are going to recommend them based on what these other people are saying. First way we can influence this is with guest posts and link insertions. You could find a site like this one here that looks like they accept guest posts. I don't like to use sites that clearly say you can get a guest post on them, but I'm just using this one as an example. So whether you are getting new content posted on the website or you are editing some information into an existing article on the website, essentially you are just posting it on someone else's website and you're getting your brand talked about on it. Number 2, get in roundups, listicles, reviews, and alternatives articles. If we are Ahrefs, we'd want to be in all of these articles that are about the 12 best SEO tools or maybe best backlink tools. So you could either search for things manually yourself like this, or you could come over to ChatGPT, turn on web search and say, what are the best SEO tools? And now we are going to find all of these different articles that we are going to want to make sure that we get mentioned in. So of course, you'll want to reach out to all of these and try to see if you can get included on their list. For the most part, a lot of these websites probably aren't going to want to just include you for free. They might ask for something in return. And you'll notice it's a lot of articles like this. Listicles will be like the best tools. Reviews would just be something like an Ahrefs review. Make sure it mentions you positively. Alternatives, which could be something like SEMrush alternatives. So of course, we want to make sure that Ahrefs is listed in that one. So this was for getting into existing content that AI is heavily citing, so super important. Aside from that, you can also post new listicles, which is a little bit more of a gray hat tactic that a lot of people are using these days, but it definitely works. So just like Backlinko has this article on the 12 best SEO tools, we could write a very similar article with us being listed, my brand Ahrefs, as the #1 tool. And then you could post it on other people's blogs, for example, with a guest post. You could do free parasites. This could be something like LinkedIn or even Reddit or Medium. You could post it on social media as well. You could even make YouTube videos about the 12 best SEO tools. So if you do 10, 20 of these articles about the best SEO tools and the AI says, hey, you're always being listed as #1, then of course they're going to want to list you as #1 as well. Next up, we have Reddit, Quora, and forums. So here we have our big SEO, which is a big SEO subreddit. And there are a ton of different ways you can do this. One thing is that if you ever see a thread with something talking about where your brand should be mentioned, you could represent your brand and mention yourself in the thread. So I just typed in Reddit SEO tools. You'll see a bunch of different Reddit posts where we could go in and talk about our brand. If you're doing this as your own brand, you really need to be careful, or when you're posting on Reddit in general, you need to be super careful or you get banned. So if you go in here on a branded account and you want to recommend your brand, then you need to be very careful about what you're doing, be transparent about who you are and that you represent the brand, and just try to give some very helpful, useful information. Don't be too promotional. So that's doing things in the more legitimate way. The more gray hat way would be to buy used accounts, and then you could use the accounts to either ask questions yourself, which would essentially be creating your own new thread, and then you could create another account and create a fake answer in there, and then pay for fake upvotes, and you could just be at the top of the thread. Or like we did before, you could buy a fake account and just go into all these pre-existing threads and then answer as someone who's a normal person. And you're not actually representing your brand, but you're trying to pose as a person that's giving a useful recommendation. And you can do the same exact thing on Quora as well as different forums. Quora is a lot easier to do than Reddit. They don't have the same protections that Reddit does. And then you can find niche forums. For example, in SEO, Black Hat World could be a popular forum to get mentioned on. And just like Reddit, you could do this the real way or the fake way. Last up, for high quality citations, you can do influencer marketing, whether that's on social media or video. So maybe I think that Gail from Authority Hacker would be a great guy to help promote my service. You can reach out to them and see if they have a price. How much would it take for you to create some content to help promote our brand? And it works the same way with YouTube channels as well. And by the way, while we're over on YouTube, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and give the video a like and give the channel a sub. We got a bunch more AI, digital marketing, and SEO stuff on the way. Next up, we have positive user engagement, which is favorable interactions with your site or your brand. Here's how you can influence it. First up, we have good user experience, and this is more important for Google's AI mode, and AI overviews. People come to your website and it's easy for them to use. They like the content that's on your website and they don't bounce back to the SERP and want to click a different website instead. Then you have a good user experience, and Google likes to promote brands that have good user experience. Next up, we have review management. So whether you are local and you are just responding to all of your reviews and encouraging your clients to leave reviews and really trying to work on getting really good reviews, or you are managing reviews on a third-party platform like Trustpilot, or maybe someone wrote a review in a Reddit thread or on their own website, you really want to be managing your reviews in any places that people might leave them. If someone leaves a bad review, be very careful and just try to be as helpful as possible and to resolve their complaint, and maybe you can even get them to change their review. Next up, we have build a community and be active in other communities. So at my link building agency, we had built a Facebook group with about 7,000 people in it. A lot of people are building school communities these days. And then of course, Reddit is a big one as well. So what these communities do is they foster a lot of public goodwill towards your brand. You're spreading goodwill, you're helping people, You're showing Google and the AI that people are interacting with you in a positive way. And then these people will go and they will say good things about you, hopefully, right? Number 5, and this one is super important and a lot of people neglect it, which is build a good product or service. This is one of the easiest ways to get mentioned everywhere. It's just to build a good service, right? Of course, you still need to do marketing, but if you build a good service and you get some people to start using it, eventually these people are going to go out on the internet and they're going to start doing all of this work for you. At the link building agency, one of the first times I saw people mentioning us somewhere on the internet was on Black Hat World. And I remember being so happy about it because finally these people are out here talking about us naturally and we're not having to do anything. Next up, we have click-through rate manipulation. I'm not going to talk too much about this one, more gray hat or black hat. But essentially, there are services that will go and they will search for keywords and then they will go and click on your link to your website and show Google that people want to visit your website for that kind of keyword. People do this for SEO, but having these good user signals can help with Google's AI as well. Number 7, quality content. We talked about quality content before as a way to get expert mentions, but again, using quality content to get just regular people talking about you as well. But your content actually needs to be really good, right? So of course, Backlinko, when they write a new article, a lot of people talk about it, but it takes a lot of work to create content like this. But if your brand is always creating this super high valuable content, whether it's on your website or videos, then people will take notice. People will talk about you. People will engage with your brand and spread positive signals about you over the internet. Same with social media. I don't think I need to explain this one as well, but if you have a strong social media presence, it does the exact same thing. When I asked who I was to ChatGPT, scrolling down here, it actually talks about what people were saying about me on LinkedIn. So what is the community sentiment about Chris? And actually shows what people are saying about my videos on LinkedIn comments, on YouTube comments, all over the place. And lastly, blog comments. If you have a website and you have blog comments turned on the bottom of your article, this could show Google that people are interacting with your content. You don't necessarily need to turn blog comments on. I actually leave them off in most cases. But if you come to a website and the website has hundreds of blog comments, you can see that people are really engaged with this article. It could definitely be a strong signal to the LLMs. Next up, we have branded search demand, which of course is how many people are Googling your name. And of course, this is going to help a lot more with the Google LLMs, Google AI. However, just having strong branded search queries really means that you're doing all of this other stuff correctly. So it's a really good signal to show Google. And of course, if you're getting searched in the AI as well, like for example, I'm getting searched in ChatGPT, then they would have access to how many people are typing the brand in there. So that could be a good thing. But in general, just doing all this other marketing stuff is really good for increasing your brand awareness and people searching for you. So it kind of feeds all of the other things that we've already talked about. I'm going to go over these very quickly because we're starting to repeat a lot. A lot of these tactics are multi-purpose. So number 1, strong influential content. Just like this one, if we're always writing good content, people will search for you. Free tools and downloads with strong branding. Again, we talked about this one before, but here's Backlinko's free keyword tool. People definitely love this kind of stuff and it can drive search demand because people will trust you and they want more from you. Being active on social media, video, and podcasts. Kind of a no-brainer, right? But if people are always seeing your posts on social media and they like you, or maybe they're always seeing your YouTube videos, like in my case, or if they see you appear on a podcast and they really like you, of course, they're going to search for you and your brand name. Be talked about in communities. So again, we're back to Reddit, but if people are mentioning you in all of these link building tools articles, then when people see it, they're going to Google your brand name. And now we have some more gray hat ones. These are more interesting to me. This one, brand focused PPC. So you can create an ads campaign, for example, on Facebook. And naturally, if a bunch of people are seeing your brand campaign, what they're going to want to do is to Google and find out more about you before they go and buy something from you. Another thing you can do is pay micro workers or bot traffic. Again, this is black hat stuff. It's not something that I do, but you can definitely look into it if you're more on that kind of path. But it's essentially just paying bots or paying people in low income countries to Google your name a lot and interact favorably with your website. And last up, we have job listings. For example, you could post a job listing on LinkedIn and then people are going to apply for their job. But before they apply, what they're going to do is Google your brand name. So it's a really good way to pay a little bit of money and get really high brand search volume. Again, it's kind of black or gray hat. You're kind of wasting people's time. However, it does work. Next up, we have authoritative backlinks. And yes, backlinks do help with AI, not as much as they do with SEO. For AI, you just want more of these brand mentions generally. However, they definitely do help, especially if they're from really high authority sources. I'm not going to go over this stuff because we've talked about it a ton in the video already. But you can do this with guest posts and link insertions. You can do link bait articles, whether that's data studies, viral kind of content. statistics, free tools, etc. that we already talked about, and digital PR or something like Haro or Quoted. I've also got a ton of link building videos on my channel, so if you want more information on any of this stuff, definitely head over to my channel and check some of the stuff out over there. All right, now entity optimization, we are finally to the end. This one was actually not mentioned in Kevin's article, but we're going to go over it really quickly. So entity optimization is making sure that you are saying the correct things that you want AI to know about you on all of the different properties that you control. So far, all the stuff that we've talked about has been stuff on other people's websites, right? Other places on the internet that you can have some influence over, but you don't have direct control over in a lot of cases. So this is controlling the narrative on your own site, your social media, profiles, third-party reviews, etc. This is, of course, one of the main places that AI learns about you is on your own website, and then they go to the rest of the internet to see how everyone feels about your brand. But step one is getting it right on your own site. So here are some things you can do. You can ask questions like this. I'm going to say brand equals Ahrefs, and I will turn on web search. So now we're going to find out what ChatGPT knows about my brand, what my main selling points are, what the benefits are of my tool, and who my tool is for. And just like we did before, but this time when we go through all these sites, we're going to see where it's pulling from our own properties. So where on our own website did we give this information, right? Here's the Ahrefs Help Center. Here's Ahrefs main site. Here's their company social profile. And we just want to make sure that all of these things that we can control, we're saying the right thing on. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're getting the correct information in your schema as well. All right, so just remember that all of these things are contributing to our brand authority. And our brand authority mainly comes from other people, not ourselves. Even though we want to get the stuff right on our own properties, it really comes from how the rest of the world feels about us. And that means that we want to literally be everywhere and talked about in a positive way. I've given you a ton of stuff here. And for today's free resource, I've really cleaned this up a lot using ChatGPT and just made it in a lot more readable format. And it goes over literally all the different things you can do to influence each one of these points to control your brand authority. Just click the link in the description to subscribe to my newsletter, get instant access to it. Remember to do all the things, to be everywhere, to be omnipresent. I actually have a big announcement coming soon, and you might be able to guess what it is, but I can't reveal it quite yet. But hopefully in the next week or two, I'll have a big announcement for you guys that could really help you with a bunch of the stuff we talked about today. Click the link in the description if you're interested in working together to fill out this short form. Go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. It helps me out a lot, guys. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.